Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sagebrush Happy Hour Journal entry for August 20th, 2025. It's been one of those just run around exhausting kind of days today. And so my big project for today was that I wanted to swap out it's a shallow well pump that pumps the water from our cistern into our house. And so that's what provides the water pressure and pumps the water into our house. And the pump that I have had presently was a 24-volt pump. And so it ran off of our 24-volt batteries. But since I'm upgrading the system to 48 volts, that meant that I was just, I left one battery at 24 volts just so that it could run that pump. And so I've been wanting to swap that out at the first opportunity. And it's been so crazy that I haven't been able to actually get the plumbing parts and plumb that in. So this morning, my goal was to get out of here, run into town, which is to the hardware store, which is 30 miles away. So it's a 60-mile round trip to the hardware store to get the plumbing pieces that I needed. And then I was going to get back here, and then my friend Gil and his son Tim were going to meet me here so that they could help me plumb that in. And then we had another project of getting rid of an old refrigerator that didn't work, and a couple other little things. And so we got so I got to the hardware store, and of course I had this list of the pieces that I actually needed. And, and I actually ended up spending like 45 minutes on the plumbing aisle finding all those little pieces that I needed. And so, I needed, and so our plumbing is plastic. It's called PEX. And so using the PEX with to convert it to the pump, we had to go to what's called MPT brass fittings to these PEX fittings. And so it was a bit of a puzzle to put it together for the new pump, using mostly the old plumbing. But we got that together with only a couple little mishaps where, we still had it pressurized when we undid one pipe and basically flooded the shed where we were working in with about an inch of water. And we all got a shower. And we finally got that plumbed back in. And so then Gil and Tim had to head off to help another neighbor do some excavating work. And so we had the pump running, and after about an hour, it still hadn't turned off. And I went and I touched it, and it was really, really hot. I mean, it was, you didn't want to touch it hot. And I was afraid we were going to start cavitating boiling water in there. And it must have had an air bubble in there. And then the other thing is that our pressure tank had a different setting for the old pump than it did for the new pump. And so I had to put air into our pressure tank so that it would reach the shutoff pressure for the pump. On top of that, well, first of all, I have 3 tire gauges to measure air pressure, and none of the 3 agree. They're off from each other by 5 to 10 psi. So I'm kind of really guessing at what the pressure in the pressure tank is when it's supposed to be exactly 28 psi. So while I'm dealing with that problem, I get a phone call from my 84-year-old mother, and the thing is that she got her phone hacked a couple weeks ago, where they did a spoofing attack and actually installed the software to take control of her phone and compromised her Apple ID, and basically, so we went into a rapid shutdown on that 2 weeks ago, and then this week on her iPads, they started taking control of those again because they had her Apple ID, and so we had so her grandson, I guess, yeah, Harrison is great grandson. It was just visiting this morning to her place in Florida, and he spent 2.5 hours getting her phone sanitized and one of the iPads sanitized, and changing her Apple ID and getting them cleaned off and everything. But they left one iPad still dirty because it has a bunch of pictures that need to be gotten off of it. And so my mom called me and was like, how can I do this? And my mom is not the most technically adept, and so basically I was trying to talk her through that process, but we weren't able to actually accomplish that at this point. So that was kind of a stressor. So, and I had the pump that wasn't working as it should, and had this going on. And so I finally got out there, and the pump had shut itself off, and so that was a good deal. And I meant the pressure tank was causing it to shut off. And so then I went ahead and changed the water filters, and so while I was doing that, Gil and Tim came back over, and then we had to load up this refrigerator that wasn't working that I was giving them to see if they could repair. And we were giving them a set of dishes from Annie and some other things. So got the filters changed, got the refrigerator out the door, and I was just exhausted. And I said, I'll go in and take a shower. So went in to take a shower. About halfway through the shower, I lost water pressure. So I went outside and checked the pump, and the pump had kicked back on. And so it was pumping water. And on the good side of it, it was actually staying cool. So I think that previously when it was trying to pump, it had an air lock in it, and so it was overheating. So it's still pumping out there right now while I do this journal entry, and I hope to, when I set this down, I'll go out there and see if that it's shut off, and it should shut off. It should when it reaches pressure there. So that's what's happening out on the Mesa today. So happy hour. Cheers, everybody.